Hi again. Me and Victor from the last game managed to have a rematch not so long after the last video. So I once again face off against his Empire army. This game wasn't planned that long ahead, so unfortunately I didn't have the video camera available. So it will be a photo report featuring my pretty boring gaming board. At least you see the units clearly. I put in an order for a new gaming mat, so soon I hope my videos will feature a bit more interesting scenery. On the list I have now dropped the monsters and instead brought some shooting with 2 bolt throwers and 2 hunting chariots with the harpoon upgrade. We alternated deploying for a while, and when I dropped my last I had +3 for the first turn and got it. I think he got a better deploy than me in the end, mainly because his tank has free reign on my right, while all my bolt things are on the left. So the plan then, as I was very afraid of his 2 mortars, I deployed the blades 2 ranks deep to avoid that many casualties. If I could bring both my infantry units into his infantry, supported by the altar, I should manage all his block quite easy. The Harpies too had a clear mission in hugging the guards back and then make a charge at his artillery, much like the last game, since I didn't see anything I needed to divert in the opening turns. My shooting will focus mainly on his knights, while the chariots are planned to make him think twice about moving up too far. This plan has several flaws in hindsight, since I didn't take any casualties into account, which is very stupid. So if I take a decent amount of losses somewhere, that spot in the army will fall, since I'm too split up to support with any other units. Well, for deploy then, from the left we have my raiders, then the big blades unit, the smaller blade unit, Harpies behind, and we have the level 3 oracle inside the blade unit. Then are the tower guards, the altar, 1 bolt thrower, a hunting chariot, the other bolt thrower, and the last hunting chariot. And on his side, from the right here, is his left flank. So we got the steam tank, the handgunners, a small unit of swordsmen with a mortar behind. Then we have a big block of spearmen with a marshal and a priest inside. Then another supporting swordsman unit with the cannon behind. Next are his great swords with the BSB, the general, and the priest inside. Behind we have the other mortar, and far off on his right flank is the knight unit with a knight commander and a priest inside. So we start off with my turn 1, and all my combat troops move full speed ahead. Here my blades get a bit left behind, since I now have to make a swift reform, otherwise they would stay in a very long line. So that feels like an unnecessary fodder, and the left flank looks like this. 1 chariot moving up a bit, the other on the hill. For magic I get the comet off, like last game, first turn, and I place it behind his spears. Then here, and when it comes to shooting, my bolt throwers and one of the chariots only managed to kill 1 knight, it seems. But the other chariot, it hits the mortar and wounds it and does 3 wounds. So he is 1 mortar down already at the first turn, so that feels good. And I don't have to be that afraid for my infantry anymore. But on the other hand, 1 mortar is enough to create some havoc. I think my oracle here shoots down a handgunner or 2. So his turn then, and he moves aggressively forward with the tanks almost reaching my raiders. His main combat blocks moves up to challenge my tower guards. Here in magic he casts flaming swords, and the attribute goes on my Oracle bunker. The comet doesn't come down this turn. In shooting then he uses his breath with the tank on my raiders, killing 2 of them. And then his mortar fires on the guards, killing some, but I have the altar buff up, so I think I save some at least. His handgunners follow up the tank and kills the last raiders. So it's my turn again, and the guards charge his spearmen, and thereby also being counter-charged by a small block of swordsmen. My blades fail their frenzy this turn, so they don't reach their intended target. They stay like that. And otherwise, in the movement phase, I move one of the chariots up a bit to tempt him to charge it with his knights. So if he does, I can counter-charge with my altar, even if he makes it. Then in magic, the comet comes down, and I roll a 3 for range. That plus the 2 tokens gives 5-inch range, and nothing is within that range, so that's a bit of a disappointment. We'll learn the lesson from that one, that when you put a comet down, make sure that if you want something to get hit, place it close to it, so it will. If the intent had been just to dissuade him from moving in a certain area, it hadn't mattered that much, but this time I had hoped to kill something. Instead I go and shoot down a couple of knights, 4 I think. And then in combat I first off kill the priest to make them lose their hatred, and then I kill about 14 more. His spearman sticks on steadfast, but his support unit is not within the general or the BSB, so they break. In his turn then, his knights charge the chariot and makes it in. It's fine by me, at least as long as they don't overrun into the altar. I want to make the charge there. One thing I didn't think about was that the knights have a great weapon, which makes them a bit scarier. So the steam tank also, he hopes for a charge, but he lands 1 inch away from my blades. And his support unit rally his great swords and other support unit positions to flank my guards. In the magic phase he gets Sun's Blessing in, and it kills the chariot outright. Then his cannon shoots at a bolt thrower and kills 1. Next he shoots his mortar at the blades, and here I was right to fear the mortars, and I don't know exactly how many it killed, but together with the gunners 15 blades die this shooting round. And in combat my guards kill all but his marshal, but it doesn't matter since I run him down. His knights also overrun, but fortunately they don't reach the altar. So it's my turn 3, and now I see I was wrong. I didn't catch the marshal, but instead I charge him off the board and then redirect to a cannon, so it didn't matter much, wasn't much difference there. The harpies charge the mortar and reach in, and the altar charge his knights. All charges make it in, so I'm happy with that. The blades, on the other hand, are in an awkward position, and I make it even more awkward when I move them up a bit towards the great swords. I could have charged them in and killed a bunch and then die, but I want to wait a bit with that one. But unfortunately I moved the blade up towards the great swords, but I didn't realize that one of his supporting units now is in my flank. I had counted on getting the steam tank in the back, but I had hoped that killed some of his infantry, but if he gets in my flank, there's not many I can kill there. In the magic phase, I think I cast Thunderbolt on his handgunners, killing 1 or so. My shooting then only kills a swordsman. In combat then, the altar kills the champ in a challenge, but the knights then stick on a steadfast throw. The cannon dies and the mortar dies, and I reform to face his units. So, and it's his turn again, and the tank and the supporting swordsman charge the blades in the back and in the flank. His greatswords and the other support unit moves up against tower guards, and in the magic phase he gets flaming swords off on his handgunner unit, and he miscasts. Then put the small template over his supporting unit there, and kills a couple, and the wizard takes a wound. He also has Sun's blessing on the priest against the altar, which I let through, since the altar is all but invulnerable to magic, so I didn't care much, and rightly so, because it does no wounds. He then shoots a couple of tower guards off, and in combat he breaks the blades, and his supporting unit run the last ones down. The altar does wound to his priest this turn and takes one back. We win by musician, but I stick. So in my turn 4 I don't see any choice but to charge the guards into his greatswords. I would rather have wanted them into the support unit, but they were blocked. I couldn't wheel past the greatswords. I move my harpies up to block the steam tank from charging the tower guards, and with magic I get blizzard through on the greatswords, and shooting doesn't do anything special. So in combat the altar gets in a challenge with his lord, and I do 2 wounds to it, but they stick. And in combat with the greatswords then, I forgot to prioritize his priest to make them lose hatred, so I kill a bunch, but with hatred he kills a bunch back too, and I lose the combat. But I have 4 tower guards left, so I'm stubborn at least. I also kill the wizard, I think. It's looking grim for the tower guards. So in his turn he moves the steam tank up to shoot at my last chariot, which he then does. Kills it outright. The gunners then kill 3 of the harpies, but they stay. He didn't have much magic that phase with only 2 priests left. So in combat then he kills the last of my guards, and my prince kill his BSB, and I lose by 4. So unfortunately I didn't pass this 6-up break test, but at least the prince and the oracle gets away from his pursuit. The altar killed the knight commander, and the rest of the unit runs. I'm down quite some points here, so I thinking I need to maximize my chances to get a win, or so I let them run and hope my bolt thrower will finish them off, and positions the altar so that I can charge his tank in the next turn. And that's exactly what I do. The altar gets into the tank. The lord and the oracle actually rallies on a 5-up, so they're back in the game. The harpies run and hide, and for magic my level 1 oracle goes for a suicide comet, and it gets through, and I place the marker right next to my unit. It will probably kill the oracle, but my prince has fireborn, so I don't care that much. Just hope it will damage his units a bit. For shooting then, my level 4 shoots at his handgunners. The bolt thrower hits and pierce ranks and kill 2 of his knights. So now there are only the priest and 1 more left. The altar does 3 wounds to the steam tank, takes some back. In his turn then, none of his units want to charge my prince and oracle, since he figured he was better off just shooting at them with the handgunners, since the champion that unit have the Hochland long rifle thing, which is very effective. His knights continue to flee, and in the magic phase the comet comes down. It kills the whole supporting unit and a couple of grey sword. It also kills the oracle, but the prince doesn't care much, so he just stays where he is. So in his shooting then, his handgunner champion gets 2 wounds on the prince, and in combat the altar takes 1 more wound from the steam tank and does some back too. It's time for my last turn, and here I think I make a mistake actually. I was so focused that my only chance was to have my prince survive this was to panic or destroy his handgunners, and since my prince himself has a bow, I move him in a position that he can shoot at handgunners when I didn't measure, so I don't know really, but looking at the pictures I think there is a small chance that if I just had marched as long as possible out, he might have gone out of range of the handgunners at least. On the other hand, the champion have range 36, so he would have reached me anyway. For magic then, I actually get blizzard off on his gunners, minus the hit and minus leadership, and felt good. Now I only need to kill enough to force him to panic, and I have a good chance that they will run away and my prince will be safe. So in shooting then, first off my bolt thrower kills both the priest and the last knight, so that went well. The skull splitter kills 1 handgunner, which is not enough to create a panic test. The prince then shoots his crossbow and kills another one, so now they need to take a panic test. But unfortunately they stick on a leadership 6, so they will be able to shoot me in the next turn. The altar then kills the steam tank, but now only has 1 wound left. It's the last round, so I don't think it's in any danger anyway. It's time for his last turn, and the only thing that matters is if the gunners with the champ can shoot down the lord or not. So when he fires and miss his Hochland rifle, I'm very happy, but there are 2 ordinary handgunners that hit. One of them wounds, and the general that at this point has a 1+, down at a 3+ save, and I roll a 2 and the prince dies. So there was much happening in the last turn. Well, the thing that hurt me most in this game was, I think, was my own deployment. The mortars undoubtedly are devastating, but deploy a unit more than 10 wide just messed them up real bad when they were left behind. Playing that force that I did also did it even worse. The guards are good, but can't take everything by themselves, which they were forced to do in this case, as I left them without any support unit. I was very pleased with the altar on the other hand, and it's good to know that there are more units than the prince that can handle stuff like steam tanks. It was fun to have some shooting again, so I will continue play with this list more or less for a while more. Well, thanks for watching. See you next time.